All right, Firewatch. Day, I don't remember. We're almost near the end of Firewatch, and I guess we're gonna do this in black and white. I did one version not in black and white. Now we're gonna do another version just in black and white because I'm gonna read my whole book. This is Motion Flesh by Eric M. Acosta. That's me. And I just realized I'm going to use this for many different things, I believe. The audio is good because I have a mic, so that'll be fun. Yeah, I might use this for Justin's tape release on January 10th. I might also use this for the Bring Your Own Beamer thing. Who knows what I'm going to end up using all this for, but I think it's pretty cool. You can see little heads walking past, which is interesting. If I had my... Interesting.
So I have a little bit of... I'll put my own interaction with you.
Interesting. Whatever's going on outside is interesting. Anyways, Motion Flesh by Eric M. Acosta. That's me. Published by Lucky Dime Chat Rooms. Oh, it's just published by Chat Rooms, which was Barracuda Garisco's, one of Barracuda Garisco's publishing labels. Motion Flesh, Eric M. Acosta. I had thought in terms of man's own limited dimension. I had presumed upon nature that existence begins and ends is man's conception, not nature's. And I felt my body dwindling, nothing, becoming nothing. My fears melted away, and in their place came acceptance. Quote, end quote. Patina. Brittle stumbling on what litters the floor. I remember you as a color, freeze-dried. Fully busted, you were a living, numb, rotten, green tea, steam ballet on the spirant surface crumble. Outside the olive door, rolled up dollar bill, too still, drunk in the morning, drive to work. You, pagodas and pavilions, shelter, turmeric sky. Nacreous LED faces, trash and love, oil as cyst in the water, turn up in air, losses to strain, lose, Sisyphean stereo knob. Silver City, the impenetrable Oud. After rounds, she gets up to dance with another man. You care for the solid comfort of the bar, wood, cable, television. After London calling, walked home feeling that you were only movement, not really real. Sidewalk frond signs degenerated. Moon window, fortune told of you passing and shows M missing daughters. Away on the couch, closing distance with each glass, you to me in knots. Less than words on in. You in the faux glass etched former solid made to recite names, sear, rot, frizz. And of the street, the bus stop pocket universe, lit driving, Jay talking, sunlight about feet and compass from west to east again. Choosing to deny it is gloss. The October bee on the window screen greets you at the door. This saturating the feeling is not anywhere specific. It's always the same, not enough. You are longer between than teeth. Water jug, washed hands. Black birds on a light pole are the apex from you. Heat line, speak, indent, breeze, fence, rails, sound, street, liquor. You love the neurotic angles of apartments to fur and heirloom and transformer. You catch the fealty, crease the feel real. Now I see you touching the hill. A singing Wayne, case open street corner, steel guitar gristle. You remember into the window, smoke as ever, branches of green. Abstract beauty, black and white. Encyclopedic mesmerization, you in snapshot, the words, film, letter, envelopes, taped, tether, shut in an ox starved from dead wood. You shout corner where two halls meet one another's fists. Cover, love, robed, lust, and paper cuts, easy. He and disregarded, noise to be full fountain, asthmatic city, grated lung, heavy smoke from a late breakfast, to be, and The calcified hurt ground its loss and grief, softened, shifting, astral, per project salvo, as the real and overdo it. The big, the way it things, multiple man. 2 neural hyperspeed key is at so many states at once. Its train of thought is a run over sentence. Think derailment, a freight train collision. It is sorry. Under-eaten, inducted, vomit to drink more. The backseat throat has no respect for paper. The vehicle fender caught, hit and go. Stop sign, the way for blow brings pig light. The make of XY chrome. Disregard addict. IHM grudge bearer. Popped bones let out years held in. Wire trans references. The product, the lizard's position. Heel collision is a ramekin full to self-pressure of me, you, nonage, obsession. Demonstrably cannot but be mythologized. Larvae infusion is nose to speed stick. In a puny gorge, the big problem been dealing with. What makes pull away, push back only elicits over-representation. Millions of dead skin, dust layers shelve, useless object. Arterial effigy turns itself useless now. Auspice, failure of imagined game. Polka dots, Kennedy are sorted in the balcony, boiling me in scene, implying a suitable mate. Lash, camera, obscure, suspended survival instincts, no entry issues. 5/9/8. Glistening, recited omni times, a sweet smell of wind chime. Elven hewn hyacine at rocks that cough and stammer for oxygen. The poor influenzed ramshackled viruses, whose palm among the ox again flat lurker hang. The beacon nurses what it cannot crave, despite, it seems to say. Into its verb snap twigs deep in the hollow of its mighty thorax. Beacon rounds itself to the nearest digits. Reclaims, reorders, takes. Couch out to compost, waits for end into being. I thought we only had one. I only found one. The reply goes as the reply archipelagosts. We probably have 3 or 4 somewhere. To reduce it down, vastness coping with responsibility, the etc. won't let go of anger, but before that begins, watched, water, and felt only exist in relation to the salted fishing boat and smaller snail foam to slack. 2. 706348876220657708737. The night before, or 7 a.m. on collection day. Apartment trash pickup on Wednesday. Who is Ken? The ice cream melted. The cone has kneeled. There's a bazillion Kens. It's all I saw 4 years on screen. Just so many Kens. A beach dirt and fingernail legs. Surfer, sway, outs, ticked, rawing, liminant latches, wither, thumb, just to watch. What's so there is the absence of anyone else. An unpronounceable word, replied the sand in a note of wind scented with plastic. The bones of fish, the beach made of rock, against, one could say. Against, it's so not noticeable. I was just checking in, Mom, said I miss you. I'm right next to you. I'm quoting an image, said it's not the same thing as it could be. The flame of the match has long touched the tip of her thumb. The conversation's ends are this way, with the surfacers in House of Card, prolapse rushing motor, the intent extension of wants. And maybe the rest of it all too. Just maybe the rested be all too. Deep in the pits of Boris, a beacon, 9 words, the fir tree droop cloaked traveler hold in together in pheasant hope. You may receive 4. You, my, sieve, orm. The office scotch tape. Coffee shop's counters, handwritten sign, sorry, out of coffee today. The waiting shouted and sat on the floor. They were the world's largest klezmer, so unlike a dug grave. They asked, levitation? Their blood breath pump played chess pieces upturn, hand growing out battlefield, herd of polyp attempt a grasp of red gaunt atmosphere, Worn, warm, unctuary hurts heave, losing it into prolonged birth, helical, yo-yo, sweat spread, sand shown, strictureless. Song of old remembers what first. If it was another epic, it'd be cold, pollination, not revolution. Always remember Genosha. Hard to tell if it's fingers or teeth. Scrunched solitude, morning breach, at most is enough. The ideas of opposite headline I feel in my shoulder. Proclamate crescent the moist open morning today I want. Clear the dustband, place the circle in its river on the floor. Don't be scared to let in vermin. The core open, ooze, blue, pinion outside of a bird's wing, obnubulate, escutcheon. It's hard to tell the difference. That is me, and that is only me. A neural stone bridge high up and long and thin sing, I can be open, yes I can. Feeling each space and its possibility for even more space. Of grounding the body in its shell from all corner. Vertebral stone. Quasar 3C273. Packs of dog frost on the windows. Moon fuzz. Floor happy enough to beg, Ferris wheel swallowing a Coke bottle, a herald of diamond bubble, reference engrossed in prayer cybernetic, griefaned somnambule kidnapped, supercomputer in palm, cranked neck congruent witness, the shape of 35 and 36, segregated chemicals palm playing cards, Mon's inventory spoke, siphon worried the shame and love, islands of haste, clocks in hetero, limbless and devastated become, timeless scene, gasping sulfuric waste. The bow of eons began in glade. Cart sharks scavenge hunted heads from the side of the vessel, swinging chains. I'm scared I'm sick. Broke greens, spherical nursemaid ant, so-so Bauhaus, hexapod. The meat poems. Damning the morn cave and whirl, canted no more, all autothon, all rivulence of once passed out rasped days from the lessened animal is the uneven calculation to being eaten by yourself. My corpse in the passenger seat, mouth open snow globe, tooth crags, south to north. Chain smoke sequences from neck crease and jigsaw knotted left eye, cordant patter, neck exhaust. Of the now breathing highway, what waterfall, all that beautiful cold gurgling. Stampede of mirage, meat grinder, emergent star, are lumps of burger on the wax paper, each one with noses open, clay-faced blob pantheon emitting ever noise chunks of the gloves of their mouths, implosion, beyond dig, stratum, aft, saber to the hilt, splinter, where the stars go to scream, crumbling signs of altered disintegration, lesser plight reaching finds its reflection pushing back dissonance. You are in the corner beyond loving, near a day over expired, cold and wet, the wind quaking, oh you, to you, my you. What is there but this seep? My love here, breathless into fossiled animals, negated savage land. Mandatory enjoyment, the art gallery mill, all alone in a pack of atoms, the last smoke in the box, orator wine breath. I can taste their fumes in throat and chest, tense pods of faceted muscle. There are whalers on their little boats, the spotlights in their fists, how the bone watches the electric show, well-worn arm hour by hour, spectacle of them not in the rut, corner sound, and you were there with me the whole time observing sweating ands and sweating ands courses. Masticated meat on the clear plate. Ego eating self-pressure, the room open, eeling mirages. Caught in the net, a tremendous school of other people being swaths of paint on these lauded anvils, neglected for the studded vinyl bar, rivets of brass, the bartender, and again the bartender, and 40-hour hands. The rest juts stoop over cochlear hills of just like that. My Polaris. Ordovicious milk spilled, rips small town slow. Cardboard cutout conjoined family meal, missing male head. Gall cross kitchen lengthwise, the Borean hemisphere dinner table horizon scale. Monolithic fridge crags, orbital freezer, cavern uncurl, into tundra persistent. Super susplendid light bulb midst Verglass, Sentry, Wolverine, Maraud, Dryas, Nestle, Caribou, Carcass, Flurry, Blear, Ensconced, Granite Ridge, Gargantua, Terminus, Paul, Ice. Within the dead end glacier, Father frozen mid-use, scratched out word and sheer dawn blue, the end, just as far as he got, underneath his strata, movement, tectonic organ, evolved, map, marginal discretion, psiism, song waves. Today, Dad says, magician machine, splinted cell shaking, mouths full of ends, fuzz ton. How long lost is decipherable expedition? Layered in frost, turning over skin to hoof, celadon, brittle sky, shivered search party flare. Dry chasm mouth anxiety. The breakdown of wheat stares. Don't love her body and enslave it. A nourishment kneel. Dynamic germ principle spread in bent finger angle, incoming absence at the top of the stair. She was due on the outbound. The hard India inked columns of her outline that zigzag space led. Shoved to the bottom of the perceived against itself one air, all that shaped empty. Helter-skelter in between to the down of her plunged eye. From the stairs looking up at her goodbye back. Hospital-renowned sky. It brings so much, pulls it apart and bears. At the spare of her stars I eat the toe of Og. Stretch in as light thought it was, continue this omni-metabolic press. The cusp of the stair spilled its brim. Delusion of compression, electronic effort. Pace in waves, the mom at the top of the stairs is hay lining the street. Brahma roar, big springs, Abilene sundown, wide open, big country hold, flower. Chopped tuber flesh slick, pinch belly fat. A hand holds of my mother's hips. Of sunny afternoons, bleeding forehead, her body is bags. Orbs and orbs breathe and birth by orb. All of her revolves mold at the top of the stairs. Grease creep to paw at the crease, the square floor in her leave against me. Pan, sizzle, meat of her inside me, folding in garlic. She says I sat at the table thinking about the next 12 years and how I would be right. Laughter snaps her tense room, plastic bag side split. Tortillas spew, inside bell pepper yellow, the spill crackle, jolt. Attentive hooks where he lay. Divorced wasteland, acrid and twisted in bitterness. Proof that truth is a weapon of mass destruction. Overcast lotto, hope, gloom. Deciduous fur and strong wind. Sensitive bay, sork in retrospect. The space is an outlet of neglect. Rubbed raw in a scant, prolonged self-sabotage hit the edge and is now going back in to finish the big work. A city shredded through regret into an earnest gargoyle, emptied, and all structures left are stooped over with rickets. This is life or death, a torn callus. The rusted, bent-out road sign barely reads, welcome to the fine print. A man and a woman in between them isn't expired eventually on the table, way past gasping and now just still and atmospheric, exerting a gravitational pull. The shadows against the glass ashtray at a 45 angle. Faux wood floor in a studio with a view. Somewhere a train claws like hands outdoors and distanced. A dam nearby inflamed. Off and on rain. The phone isn't connected. The apartment permutative. Dawn birds, warm cups of coffee slow and still. Ugly pictures on the wall. The couch even. Used condiment packets, uncarnal smell of cooked beef. The ghost of Else entered the freeze. A room full of ice statues, and they walk around them and stop and discuss and marvel at the corporeal memory exhibit what was. They sit across from each other long past talking down to then and once more out to what's next. Chiromancers searching. If their body were Z, they'd be perfect. There was leaving in their beauty, growth setting boundary. They light cigarettes and stamp them out. The effort to put every sective multiplicity in purpose, gluing and plastering back a broken home, still leaks in roofs, windows, and pipes. Each multicellular filament thought they would one day, but never chose to relieve momentum, kept moving on and on, layer after layer, consistent apartment moisture, cross-reference hem fungus that grows in the form of hyphae wells on paper products, cardboard, ceiling tiles, and wood, also in dust, paints, wallpaper, insulation, drywall, carpet, fabric, and upholstery. Avoidance entered through open doorways, windows, vents, and conditioning systems, each mold semi-precious. I'm sure you'll find what to do with the produce in the fridge. Yes. He wasn't a man, more a revolving door. Southwest Desert, freight train harmonica, a warden land of rock and scrub ensconced in desiccated riparian. The Rio Grande made meager by irrigation cement and border, by the banks creosote and ocotillo and mesquite brittled from want. Raids of the Old West surveillance helicopters patrol the empire. An American flag adorned crane idol of this decade's highway expansion project. Plastic grocery bag enrobed nopal spine, tattered and vagabond phantom, the sun at high noon, a cold December but without frost. Thriving vibration, end note eat carved out head, another empty hits the bin. The record spun stellar collision. He was a long way. It was tomorrow. Looking in again to the bottom of the small jam jar, opaque in liquor, he vortexed out further and further. Umbilical present real gave way, which articulated inside out the ceiling, felt a knee in fragment that threaded to slime. Drain piped roach den sewage river past strata of ossified bone, and forgotten men sunk down tons of murk to revolt in the hottest, most neglected nowheres until saturated with earth, core, molten mush was incinerated to energy pooled in the axis synapse, gushed out through space where he accumulated enough dense distance to revolve out and in to a multiplaned house of mirror time. In here he found a person-shaped doorway, and he knocked and barked and stormed and laid siege and was ultimate and still was unheeded. So he sat and marveled at the boundary. At work he made copies, transcribed meeting notes, took phone calls. He made copies, took dictation, took phone calls. The hypocrite break room waiting for the coffee to boil. He stared down into the sink. His dreams weren't big enough to get corporeal. Before this, he'd been a mechanic. Before that, a busboy. Before that, he worked on a ranch. Before that, and before that, life in a vat, ooze, hangover, a small escape. If he added up all the layover, he had a free life. He lit a cigarette in the parking lot. The winter made the distance clear. Border town between the middle of everywhere. Minimum wage town, minimum wage mines. Bigs were getting wise that there was more juice to squeeze. The ones with spare change too old, the kids too hungry. There'd be no fight. Hangdog, her harmony, the urban body splinted by mountain. Erosion was what would be. Raw power present showed there was no reason to run. He stopped by the liquor store on the way home. He took a few pulls of whiskey to get himself feeling. He hit the highway heading south. The momentum fed peace. The radio was loud as it got. The Jawbone Factory, the sink, the bar, the drain, thrumming dive in its synthetics in a scrunched space. Full tables near the juke was dancing. Long-timers at the stools. Hive noise, confettiing, each drinker uncomplicated themselves. Their psychologic wave particle emanated to the room, collided with each other into the primeval. Committed time units extinct, every oblivion. He ricocheted into Oort cloud. Poets at the cocktail hour table near enough to fear absence. Nothing but ventricle. They were stage light, maculo-nuclear fillet. The five of them sat at a corner table, the glass more than the creature they barricaded.